What's up, you guys? JZB Moto here, and today we are going to be going on a ride and talking about the recently announced Yamaha R9. All right, so it's been like a day or two since the Yamaha R9 was announced, and I've been monitoring the internet just to see what different people are saying about it, and there's good and bad things. I mean, a lot of people are happy and pretty ecstatic about the announcement, and then you have another group of people that are pretty disappointed, I guess you could say. So on one group, you have people who seem to be disappointed, but this group of people seems to be the same group of people who are international. So why does being international affect opinions? Well, because everywhere else in the world besides the United States, the Yamaha R1 was recently discontinued. So the announcement of this Yamaha R9 has a lot of the international community thinking that this R9 was intended to replace the Yamaha R1. And the Yamaha R9 has substantially less horsepower. It has, I don't know what the torque numbers are yet on the R9, but it's a substantially less powerful motorcycle than the R1. But in the United States, it's the other way around. It's the R6 that was recently discontinued, and the R9 has been rumored in the United States, at least, to be replacing the Yamaha R6. And if you look at the horsepower and the torque, there's actually a lot of similarities. So the Yamaha R6, for example, I think it sits around 120 horsepower, and the Yamaha R9, I believe it sits around 119. I don't know the exact numbers because when asked about it, spokespeople from Yamaha said that they don't really claim horsepower numbers in the United States. So, but the MT-09 has about 120 horsepower, give or take. But so we can pretty much say that the Yamaha R9 and the Yamaha R6 have very similar horsepower, but the key difference here is that the Yamaha R9 has a lot more torque to the rear wheel and has a lot more torque across the rev range. For example, the Yamaha R6 four-cylinder motorcycle gets the majority of its power at the higher end of the rev range, whereas the R9 and the MT-09 that shares the CP3 engine, they have a lot more usable torque across the entire rev range. So what does that mean? That means, well, on the street, you have a lot more usable power across the board, not just at the higher rev range. So I personally think this is going to be a really cool thing, and I've been really excited for the Yamaha R9 for the longest time, actually. So on my side of things, I got my start about 10 years ago, and not 10 years ago, about 13 years ago, on a little Ninja 250. I rode that Ninja 250 for about a year or so before I upgraded to a Yamaha R6, and I stayed on that Yamaha R6 for 8 or 9 years before I took a short break. I took about a 3-year break from riding, and then got back in the saddle on a Yamaha R7, and really liked that R7. And the reason I got an R7 was actually because the R6s were no longer in production. So that's why I went with the R7. Now, the R7 was a great bike, very torquey. It was a CP2 engine, but it just didn't have the high-end power that I wanted on the highway. Like, for example, if an 18-wheeler or something got close to me, I couldn't really get away from it very fast, and that was a big problem. Thought that guy was definitely going to pull me over. Shit. Whew. That was a close one. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about because I almost got in a car accident just now. Oh, I remember what I was saying now. So the CP2 engine in the Yamaha R7, a very torquey engine, gives you power right when you ask for it, especially on the street. It is very good for the street, but it had a very good low and middle end, but the high end, it just was not good. Especially on the highway, if an 18-wheeler or something was veering into my lane, I could not get away from it as quickly as I wanted to. So a lot of times my only option was to slow down. Could be a skill issue just because I was used to 4-cylinder bikes up to this point. But I just wanted something with a little bit more power. And so I was trying to wait it out for the Yamaha R9, but it's been a rumor. The Yamaha R9 has been a rumor for quite a long time. And I wasn't sure if it was even going to be announced. So I went ahead and opted for the Ducati Panigale V2, which is what I'm on now. So yeah. But my point with that is the CP3 engine is going to have power across the board similar to the CP2 engine. And the CP3 engine is that 3-cylinder engine that's also going in the Yamaha R9. So I personally think that the Yamaha R9 is the intended replacement for the Yamaha R6, and that is also corroborated by a racing team in World Superbike. I forgot the actual name of the race team, but I know of a race team that is planning to stop riding the Yamaha R6 and start riding the Yamaha R9 in their races. So it's a similar horsepower. The Yamaha R9 is a similar horsepower and similar everything else to the Yamaha R6, more so than it is the Yamaha R1. If you think about the R9 being a replacement for the R1, you're going to get really frustrated because it's a substantially lower power motorcycle. But if you think about it as a replacement for the R6, it starts to make a lot more sense. So that's my thought, is that this specific motorcycle is going to be replacing the Yamaha R6. And if that's the case, I think it's going to be a really great bike. I honestly will probably go and test drive one once they become available. I think the point in time which they become available is going to be like next March, I think, in 2025. So it's going to be quite a wait before we have the chance to ride them, which is fine. I'm in no hurry. I 100% love my Ducati. I probably would have gone this direction regardless, even if the R9 would have been available, just because the Ducati is just, I don't know, it's just a different machine in general. And that's another reason why you can't really just pay attention to the cylinders that the bikes have, because the Ducati I'm riding right now is a V2 2-cylinder Super Quattro engine, and it puts out 150 horsepower, and I absolutely love it. But some of the squids around town might look at that and say like, oh, it's only 2 cylinders, it's slow. And that's not the case at all. I think the R9 with its 3-cylinder 120 horsepower engine with usable torque across the rev range is going to be an amazing bike. And I don't really think that you should pay much attention to the people who are just like talking mad crap about it, just because it's not as fast as the R1. But yeah, my opinion is that the R9 has the same horsepower as the R6, but has more usable power across the entire rev range. So I think in that regard, it's an upgrade. It's going to have the electronics from the R1, which, you know, the ABS, traction control, wheelie control, all that stuff. So in that regard, I think that's freaking sweet. So I think really it's a win-win across the board. That's my opinion. So I think it's going to be an awesome bike. I think it's just a matter of time. And I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised at that CP3 engine inside of the R9. So yeah, I'm actually very excited. I'm not one of the people that is like upset at Yamaha for what they're doing. At the end of the day, they're just trying to make a bike that people enjoy, that is also compatible with the EU's emissions regulations, which unfortunately is a like shitty spot to be in. I don't know why that, you know, people are just standing by and letting the government, you know, ruin these bikes that we know and love. But at the same time, you know, it's possible that Yamaha finds a new innovative approach to making bikes that are still full of power, maybe even better than what we've experienced before, and keeps them within emissions guidelines. That would be amazing. So yeah, I'm excited. The people that I've talked to about this bike are pretty excited. I was talking to my friend Mike the other day about this bike. He's excited. Him and I are both in agreement that, hey, other than the Ducatis that we love to ride, the only other bike that we would probably put in our stable would be this this R9 that's about to come out. So I'm eager to test drive it. I think it comes out in next March, I believe, 2025. So if it does, then we'll test drive it. We'll see how it goes, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you guys excited? Are you upset? If you are upset, why are you upset? And if you are excited, why are you excited? Just let me know.